I always burp in like every fucking video. Hi! Today I'm coming at you with a book review. I've never done this before because I was always too scared that like what I said about a certain book would be wrong. You know, like book reviews, they're always intimidating to me because I feel like, you know, like you gotta be good at it and you gotta say like actual like good kind of criticism, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to bring that. But either way, I want to try it out and see how it is. And also I'm like starting to think that, you know, there's like no right or wrong, like you just kind of share what you want about a certain book. So yeah, and I recently read this book that I'll be talking about, and like it just popped into my head. I'm like, I want to do a book review because I really enjoyed it. So yeah, let's get on with the video. So the book that I'm gonna be reviewing, I don't have it with me because I read it through Audible. It's gonna be right here. It's by Marissa Meyer, I believe. I'm sorry if I said that's not the correct author. I believe that is her. I don't have the book with me, but I believe it's Marissa Meyer. But yeah, it's a second novel or second book in a series of the Lunar Chronicles. So basically what the Lunar Chronicles is, it's like this really cool concept, I think, that it's like retelling of princess stories, but in a more futuristic sci-fi way. Like the first book was Cinder, and it's about Cinderella, like a retelling of that, but yeah, in the way that I just mentioned. And then this book is about Little Red Riding Hood, but also in that way. But it's so cool how it brings so much of like the story we're all used to, you know, and it brings so much of those facts into the story, and like the parallels. I was just like, whoa, mind blown. It's so cool. But yeah, this is the second book, and it's about Scarlet, who, you know, just like in the story, she goes to meet her grandma, and along comes a wolf, and like it's like, do I trust him, do I not? You know how the wolf eats the grandma, and then like the wolf's gonna eat her. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the story. But something that's really cool too is that Cinder, although she had her own book, she also gets brought into Scarlet, like so it's like both Cinder and Scarlet, and we read from their point of views, as well as the point of view of the prince of the kingdom that they actually live in, or Cinder lived in. So you see why I don't do book reviews, because like I'm all jumbled up, but I'm trying. So there's Cinder and Scarlet, right? Cinder has like a metal hand and a cyborg foot, right? She's a cyborg because we're in the future, you know. World War IV has happened. We're all the way in the future, and all of the world is kind of in an alliance against the moon. So that's good, right? The whole world is together, but now we're going against the moon. So the moon are the lunar people, and they want to basically take over Earth. Yeah. And there's Queen Lavanna of the moon, who is trying to get married to the prince of New Beijing, where Cinder lived, to be able to make a peaceful treaty. But really she just wants, you know, power and the destruction of Earth. And so it's kind of the setting of it, the whole exposition. But yeah, that's what happens. So yeah, that's kind of the exposition. And like, so where we are right now is like they're in a whole new adventure. Each book is like kind of like a new adventure where the main character, in this case Scarlet, finds out a whole bunch of new information, and she kind of has a mission to get to, you know, like in her case it would be get to her grandma, you know. And along the way she meets this guy who's like her helper, and they escape jail, and they do all these sorts of things, and like futuristic levels. I mean, they have a spaceship basically that they stole from the US Army. So yeah, but they go together to find the grandma, and stuff just happens from there. So I feel like that's the most I can give without spoilers. So if you haven't read this book, I definitely recommend you to read it. You kind of do have to read Cinder first, just because but you don't have to. Like, if you just want to start out in Scarlet, go for it, because even though I read Cinder, I read it such a long time ago that some of this stuff was like refreshers, because I had kind of forgotten. So yeah, you can just go ahead and start with Scarlet. But it is the second book in the 4-book series, so I would it would give you more exposition and more setting for you to read the first book. But yeah, let's move on to the spoiler part. Okay, so as I mentioned, Scarlet. My camera stopped recording. Gotta start all over. Okay, so spoiler included part. First of all, I want to say I love the parallels between the real stories and like the stories we're accustomed to and these versions of this book. I think my favorite character would be Cinder. I like her character more than Scarlet's just because I think she's like stronger and more like awake. How do you call it? Like she's like Scarlet seems a little bit more naive. Like she trusts Wolf, although she has her doubts about it. She trusts him, and I know she's a strong female because like her and her grandma lived alone, you know, and she had to fend for herself most of the time. But I still like Cinder because she's like more savvy and like can get herself out of like tough situations. I mean, she escaped from jail, so yeah, I like Cinder just a bit more. So like I said, I love the parallels, like they were spot on. So as we know, like the wolf really set Cinder into a trap. Scarlet into a trap, and like okay, so Scarlet meets Wolf, and it's funny the way they meet. I think it's funny, you know, like through this WWE style fight, you know, they meet, and she doesn't immediately trust him, obviously, but she also doesn't have too many doubts about him, you know, and they get together and they get on machine and then go find her grandma. And like I didn't really feel deeply connected to the grandma, to her, even though we did spend quite some time like listening about her, reading about her. I still don't feel like, wow. This is seriously the 3rd time I'm recording. No, 4th time I'm recording. Yeah, the grandma wasn't really something that I emotionally felt. And like when Cinder finds her in that situation, you know, when she first sees her and she's like all bruised up and stuff, you kind of know that she's not gonna make it. And even like throughout the book, I feel like after, you know, Scarlet's dad dies and the way he was tortured, I feel like you kind of instinctively know she's gonna die, so it doesn't really hit you by surprise when she dies. Although the way she died was a little brutal when what's his name, Wolf's brother, like kind of like pew, I was like, oh poor granny, man. But yeah, but okay, so speaking of the grandma, you know, the part where like the part where Scarlet is talking to her grandma and all of a sudden it turns into the wolf, that part was 10 out of 10. That part was gold. Because like, you know, she's talking to her grandma, just chill, and then it's like, grandma, what great eyes you have, you know, like it's literally that same part, and then the grandma turns back into the wolf and it's like, ha, tricked you. I thought that part was so good, and it did such a great job of like bringing you back to the real story, you know. But like throughout the book, like I couldn't really tell whether the wolf, you know, or the wolves were wolves or humans. So I really liked towards the end when they actually describe them, you know, like they're kind of half and half, and they're genetically like modified instead of food, genetically modified people. Anyways, yeah, I really I like their character overall, like the wolves, the way they're created, you know, in this very futuristic way. But it's just crazy how the Vanna like brainwashes all of them, you know, and like controls them. And like also like I thought Wolf, like I didn't trust him at all from the beginning. When Scarlet was like getting close to him, I was like, no girl, don't trust him, you know. So I really liked the way that it was revealed in the end, you know, that Wolf like that whole time was being controlled, or when he turns bad he's being controlled, but his true self, you know, like in his heart he actually like does like Scarlet, you know. So I really like the way that Marissa went about it, and like taking a little route of explaining how Wolf how his character is like very complex. And like overall I end up liking the captain, that's like Cinder's friend, better than Wolf. But Wolf is a pretty chill character too. And so like speaking of the captain, I really like his sense of humor. That's like my favorite part about his character, I think. His sense of humor and how he can relate so good with Cinder, you know? Like, they're literally trapped by all these wolves in the Tromaton, and they're still like kind of humoring the situation. Like, I love that. That's like probably one of my favorite things about characters, you know? So yeah, he was really cool and sweet, but it's just so funny how he didn't realize that Cinder was the princess when they go to Scarlet's house and they find all this, what does that one dude call it, an orgy of evidence, and he still doesn't realize that Cinder is the princess. What? But he was really chill, you know, when Cinder told everybody. Like, he was really chill about it. Like, I'll still work with you, you know? So he's like a really loyal friend. That's the way I see him, because we know that nothing's gonna happen between him and Cinder, but he doesn't try to. That's also like a part about him. He doesn't try to have anything with Cinder, you know? I always like that about guys in general, so I really like his character. And like, whereas Wolf, all he wanted, you know, was to get with Scarlet. So I think that's also part of the reason why I like him better, the captain better. And like, when they're in the ship, when they're on the ship and the whole situation's calmed down, like the very last scene of the book, oh my god, when Scarlet goes off on Cinder, that was good. That shit was so good. Because like, you know, Cinder was like, I didn't know anything, you know. I didn't know I was a princess, so like, I'm telling you the truth, but I don't know what to do. And Scarlet's like, homie, my grandma died for you, you better get your shit together, you know. And like, she just goes off. I was like dying when Cinder shut her up. Like, Cinder like gets up and like immediately shuts her up. Like, I didn't know anything, okay? Like, don't you come at me. And like, literally Scarlet's response was, oh. Like, I thought that was so funny. I was like, damn. So yeah, that's just like, but that's like the only feud there is between the two, other than when Cinder tried to kill Wolf. I was like, bro, when Cinder shot Wolf, I was like, nah. I thought he was dead. Like, I thought he was dead, and I felt so bad when he died for like a couple of seconds. But of course he was gonna be brought back. But yeah, obviously Scarlet was gonna hate her for that, but it was like a shiny bit, a teeny bit. But yeah, those are like the main points of the book that I really enjoyed. And like, I feel like in the beginning it's kind of, maybe it's just me, the way I read, but in the beginning was kind of slow, and it wasn't like towards the middle-ish where I started really getting into it. And you know, when the war is initiated by Queen Lavanna is when I was like, okay, shit's about to go down, it's about to start, you know. And like, I spent a whole hour reading it or listening to it on a bus ride, and like, it was so nice. Like, I just closed my eyes and it was like, it felt like I was watching a movie. Like, I still have the scenes in my head, and like, that's like such a good thing about books, you know. Like, they're just like a movie in your head, and you make up the characters, you know, you make up everything. I'm so happy that like no movie has come out for this yet, like, therefore I can make my own characters in my head. It's like, it's a really good part about books. But yeah, this is that's basically it. That was like my favorite parts about this book, and I really love this book, as you can tell. There were so many good things about it, and I'm so excited for the next book. Like, I know it's I believe it's Snow White, right? And Rapunzel. So I know Rapunzel's about to be the homie, hook it up with the intel. And I'm really excited for Cinder to see how her character develops even more, because we already know she's bright, but she's obviously gonna develop more, and she's gonna actually, you know, fight probably against Queen Lavanna. So I'm really excited to see that. So I'm gonna be reading the book soon, and I'll do a book review when I finish. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said, I never done one of these, and let me know, you know, if like, I don't know if I feel like I'm speaking too fast. Like, just let me know if some things that I should change perhaps. But I think that if I keep reading other books, like, I'm gonna keep doing this. And I really hope you enjoyed it, because I just really wanted to share it. I had so many thoughts and feelings about it that I just wanted to share it. And I thought this was the perfect way to do it. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I hope that you liked it enough to subscribe. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.